Okay, welcome. We're going to start on our backs today for our practice. So if you want to come onto a laying down position, and we're going to come with a little bend through the knees, feet nice and wide, and just taking a moment to rest here. So laying on your spine, just guiding your palms towards the sky. And just invite a soft breath in through your nose, fill up. And a soft breath out of your mouth, let it go. Just waking up the body softly and slowly. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just take one more big inhale to wake yourself up. And exhale to let that breath go. We'll just start by bringing knees in towards the chest. Just give yourself a little squeeze, a little rock side to side. Just massaging your lower spine. Just noticing how things are feeling today. And just pull your knees apart. We'll just take some big circles with the knees. So just waking up the body before we begin. We'll kind of wake it up, and then we'll also kind of wind down afterwards as well. So let's reverse those circles. Then bring your feet back down to the ground. Take your feet wide, not knees together. Just take your arms out to a T. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Just bring a little space to the hips, to the glutes, to the lower spine. And then when your knees rock over to the right, just pause there. Maybe we stay there, or you can take that right foot on top of your left leg, just to guide that left leg down. And just take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And softly roll back onto your spine, feet nice and wide, knees not together. Rock your knees to the left, either stay here or place that left foot on top of your right leg. Just guide that right leg down. And we'll just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Alright, we'll softly roll onto our spine one more time. And then this time we're going to lift the legs so that your knees are just above your hips. Press your heels away, creating that right angle with your legs. And just rest your arms down by your sides. Now we're starting to fire up the core here. So actively press your spine towards the ground. We naturally have that little lumbar curve, and that's going to probably stay there. But we would keep the intention of squeezing in the lower abs to press the spine into the earth. The more that we do that, the more we protect the spine, the more that we work those lower abs instead. If you're not feeling anything too much, you can always press the heels a little bit further away. We're just going to hold it here just for a few breaths. Breathing softly in. Breathing softly out of your mouth, so releasing that hot air that we will eventually achieve very soon. Okay, we're going to take some little heel dips. So dip that right heel down and then bring it back. Dip the left heel down and bring it back. Just continuing like this. Letting that breath come in, that breath come out. Sending that awareness, that attention to your lower belly. And we're just continuing here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing with feet together, hold it there. And then this time extend your legs to the sky. And let's start to point the toes upwards. We're going to start to lengthen and straighten that right leg down towards the earth. Just hover it off the ground. And then slowly bring that leg all the way back up. We're going to start to lower that left leg all the way down. And then gently, slowly bring it all the way back. So the more that we move slowly, just continue like this, the more that you can start to feel those muscles start to fire up. Whether if you went really fast, you're not really achieving the same sensation. You can definitely feel the muscles working when you go that bit slower. And that's what we want to achieve today. We're just going to continue here for the next 8, nice and slow, for 7, for 6, for 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Let's bring knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little rock side to side. Beautiful. Let's bring your hands underneath your knees, tuck your chin in. We'll just rock and roll the length of the mat about 3 or 4 times. Little pauses at the top. Then we'll come onto all fours. So planting your hands underneath shoulders. This is where if you want anything underneath the knees, you can place that extra support. Knees underneath the hips. All right, we're just going to find a little stretch here. So we're going to start to extend the right leg, press the right toes into the ground, just rock forward and back, just kind of opening up through the ankles. I want you to stretch out the wrists here. So we're going to reverse the hands, so fingers pointing towards the knees. We do one hand at a time. So palms are down, fingers pointing towards the knees, just to strengthen and stretch the wrists. Do a little bit on our hands today. Beautiful, just keep breathing through. So the closer your hands are towards that left knee, the less intense. So you may want to start there and then slowly work your way up towards the top of the mat. Okay. Then I'm just going to switch knees. So bring the right knee in, extend the left leg, little rocks forward and back. Let that breath be soft. And then we're going to reverse this action with the hands. So bring both knees in. And we're going to reverse. So one hand at a time. Fingers are towards the knees, but palms face upwards. Externally rotate your biceps. Beautiful. So start with fingers towards the knees. You can either just stay here. That might feel quite intense already. If you do want it a little bit more, you can always walk the hands a little bit further away, but we're aiming for straight arms. So guiding the crease of the elbow forward, so making any adjustments there. It can feel quite intense, so just notice eventually, if you do this a lot, you may be able to get a little rock forward and back. It is quite intense, so, but I definitely do recommend doing this as often as possible. So we do a lot of things on our hands. And slowly shake out one hand, place it down, shake the other hand out, place it down. Now focus on pressing fingertips into the ground and lifting the knuckles just to claw at the ground. Extend both legs behind you. We're finding our high plank. So pausing here, we're sending the shoulder blades up towards the sky. We're gazing down, feeling that length from your tailbone all the way to the back of the neck, to the crown of your head. We're squeezing in the belly button as much as possible. We're pressing the heels away, feeling that strength, holding it here. Just find that breath in. Those soft breaths out of your mouth. We're going to take some little toe taps. So right toes out, bring it back through center. Left toes out, bring it back. Just continuing like this. Keep arms nice and strong. Taking those toes out as far as it feels comfortable. So you can even take those legs a little bit wider. If you want a bit more of a challenge today, see what it feels like. We're just here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come back to that high plank and pause. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, come down onto forearms, elbows in line with your shoulders, elbows in line with the wrists, feet about hip distance, gaze back towards the toes. All right, keep your spine nicely lifted. We're going to just send the hips a little to the right, send the hips a little over to the left. So a little rock side to side. Keep that going, using that breath. Nice and strong. Finding a bit of space through the shoulders, through the spine. Notice if you're still breathing. We're just continuing here for the next 5. Holding stillness in 4, in 3, in 2, and 1. Coming back to that forearm plank pause. Lower your whole body down. Just take an inhale into a little Sphinx pose. So just relax the shoulders. Just relaxing the body down. Now this time we're going to press the tops of the feet into the ground. Lift your hips, gaze inward. Slowly come all the way back down. Tuck the toes, press back into that forearm plank. Hip dip side to side. Just taking it nice and controlled to start with. Using that breath. We're just here for 5. Finding stillness in 4, in 3, 2, 1. Pause, take a breath. Slowly lower all the way down. Press your heart forward. Find that forearm, that little Sphinx pose. Take a soft inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, press tops of your feet to the ground. Gaze back towards the toes, lift the hips nice and high. Slowly lower all the way down, tuck the toes. Last round like this, tuck your toes. Those hip dips side to side. Last little set. Squeezing that belly button in. We're just here for 5, for 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Pause in the center, take a breath. Exhale, lower down. Find that Sphinx pose, inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, gaze in. Just pause in here at the top. And then slowly lower all the way down. Ooh, let's just rest the head on your hands, elbows nice and wide. And just shimmy your hips a little side to side. Just give your body a little break. All right, but not for too long. Okay, we're going to take the hands just off the mat nice and wide. Press your fingertips into the ground, elbows to the sky. Take your feet a little wider apart. With that gaze down, let's take an inhale to lift the heart, a little baby cobra. So just lifting your heart as much as it feels good. And slowly lowering back down. Take an inhale to lift all the way back up. And slowly lower all the way back down. Let's take another inhale to lift. And exhale to lower back down. All right, hands on the shoulders. Press out to that high plank. Pausing here. Positioning the hands. Positioning the feet. Can't get my words out. We're going to hold it here just for the next 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Knees down to the ground. Okay, we are going to find a all fours position. So your back is nice and flat. We're going to extend that right leg behind. And just pointing toes towards the ground. Start to lift and lower that right leg. Just lift and lower. All right, we're going to start to introduce pointing the toes on the lift, flexing the foot on the way down. Pointing the toes and flex. Point and flex. Just continuing like this. Using that control, that breath. Breathing it in, breathing it out. We're going to bend that right knee and pause in the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend that right knee, little pulses to the sky. So tiny little pulses. We want to try and feel that right glute just softly vibrating. That means you're working it. So feeling into that, feeling into your lower belly. Can you squeeze it in a little bit more? But just keeping that nice soft breath. Letting that hot air out if you now have some. We're just pulsing here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause here. We're going to bring that right knee towards the right elbow and then kick that foot behind you. Kick it away. Bring right knee, right elbow, and then kick it away. Continue like this. Feeling that control. We want to really squeeze that navel in. big breaths out. We're here for 8, for 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that right heel away, pause here. We're going to lift that right leg, lower and curl it in, gaze in, push it away, lift, and then curl it in, push it away, lift, curl it in, and get your upper body involved. Lifting the head, curling it in. We're just here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to bring that right leg nice and long, and then roll onto your left hip. Bring the left forearm down, modified. It's not even a side plank, but it is what it is. We're going to lift that right leg and lift it up. So once again, I'm going to point the toes on the lift, flex on the way down. Point on the lift, flex it down. It's like little waves. Beautiful. Now just imagine doing this if you had weights on your ankles, which is another great variation. One a little tougher. Maybe you've already got them on, which is awesome. We're just going to continue here. We're going to pause in the center. In the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that leg through center and pause. We're going to point the toes, tap the toes right behind you, and then tap your toes just to the left of your mat. Bring the toes behind you, and then bring them out. So that leg stays nice and straight. You can always come down on that left arm. If you're feeling any discomfort in that left shoulder. Beautiful. We're going to hold that leg through center in the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring that right knee, hug it in, and then kick that foot away. Hug it in, press it away. Just keep those hips rolled on top of each other. So the right hip is just stacked on top of the left. Use that right hand just to support you in front of your body. We're just here for 5, for 4, for 3, and 2, and 1. And this time I want you to roll onto your belly, and then just bend your right knee so that you're rolling completely on your belly, but your left leg is nice and straight. That right knee is out to the side, so it's like a half frog pose. So the right ankle is parallel to your right knee, and just take a little breather, laying all the way down, just opening up that right hip, just taking a breath in, and a breath out. If you haven't already noticed, this is a low cardio kind of Pilates vibe today. So that's what it is. You're going to bring that right leg all the way back, press up to that high plank, pause in here. Take a breath in, take a breath out. This is where that cardio can come in. Mountain climbers, right knee to left knee, and alternate. We're going to bring that in, taking it as fast or as slow as you want. This is your time. If you're craving that energy, that fire, take it nice and fast. You can always take it nice and controlled like me, whatever your body needs. We're just here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a downward dog, take a breath. And then we'll bring knees to the ground and extending that left leg. I'm going to lift and lower. Pointing the toes to lift, flex on the way down. Point and flex. Point and flex. So we're continuing with those little lifts. Getting that breath back. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel into that concentration here. Feeling your belly button start to hug in that little bit more. We're here for the next 8, for 7, for 5, guess you can't count, for 5, for 4, for 3, and 2, and 1. Hold that leg in stillness, bend the knee, little pulses to the sky. Any trouble, when you use your towel to rest your knees on, but then I also needed to wipe my sweaty face. I hope you are sweating at home as well, and it's not just me. All right, we're here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, pausing for 3, 2, 1, pause, bring that left knee in towards the left elbow, and then kick that foot away, pointed toes. Bend it in, and then kick it away. Bend it in, kick it away. Just continuing like that. We're using that breath. We're here for 5, for 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. I'm going to kick that foot away. We're going to lift the leg, lift the head, curl it in. Lift the leg, lift the head, curl it in. We're pointing through the toes. We're squeezing the navel in. We're extending that left leg as much as possible, finding all that space and movement. We're here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to extend that left leg, bring the right forearm down, roll onto that right hip. That left leg is still lifted. We're going to lift and lower. Lift, flexing on the way down, pointing on the lift. Bring that breath in. Noticing if you want to rest that right arm down straight away. Keeping those nice little lifts. Maybe your left leg is going a little higher than mine. See how it feels. We're just here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring that left knee in and then kick it away. Bring it in, kick it away. Maybe that right arm comes down. Feel the control here. Just start to feel all those little fiber muscles starting to fire up. Beautiful. We're just here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lengthen that left leg, roll onto your belly. We're going to bend that left knee back to that half frog pose, so your belly is completely on the ground. That right leg is nice and straight. We're just bending that left knee. Oh, just rest your forehead down. Just take a breath. Let that left inner thigh get heavy. And just let it go. We are not resting for too long because we're going to come back. All right, press hands into the mat. Press yourself up to that high plank. Pausing here, getting nice and strong through the arms, mountain climbers. Bring those knees in. Opposite elbow, opposite knee. Taking it at your pace. Making sure those shoulders are just above the wrists. You're pressing your shoulders up towards the sky. You're squeezing your belly button in. We're only here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take the feet nice and long, hips to the sky, little downward dog. And this time we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. Take a little forward fold, hang heavy. Notice how everything's feeling, maybe a little sway side to side. Now we're going to imagine that you don't have any props near you. So we're going to slowly roll up to stand. and roll the shoulders back. If you do happen to have weights, you can use weights right now. So if you do want to grab them, we're going to come into a squat position. So feet that little bit wider than the hips. I'm going to keep the toes pointing forwards and find that squat position where the tailbone is down, but we are just sending the hips that little bit lower. Now starting with your hands kind of pressing together at heart center, or maybe you want to hold on to those weights. And we're just going to find some little pulses here. So sinking those hips that little bit lower. We're going to add a little bit on. So you're welcome to hold on to weights if you have them. Maybe little light weights would be nice. Even tin cans. We're going to continue here, squeezing the navel in. We're going to pause at the bottom in the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause low. And we're going to inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Slowly come back down. Straighten it up, and then come back down. So we want to invite a little bit more movement, a little bit more space. Every time we come down, we want to see if we can squat that little bit deeper. We're keeping the heart lifted. We're keeping that breath. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, pausing at the bottom for 1. Now pause here. Now we're slowly going to find some balance. We're going to come onto the right leg, lift the left leg. Slowly take it back, little squat. Slowly on the right leg, bring that left leg up. Continuing like that. Taking it nice and slow. Use that breath. Oh yeah. Want to feel those glutes. We want to squeeze the navel in. We want to really push the glutes away as we squat down. All the weight onto that right foot. Just for another 5. The heart is lifted for 4. Nice and controlled for 3. For 2, we're going to meet at the top. And 1, keep that left leg lifted. Pause here. Now we're going to find some movement in. I'm just going to swivel. We're going to slowly send that left foot away from us for that warrior 3. Maybe hands stay at heart center. And then slowly lift that left leg back up high. Nice and controlled. Send that left foot away. And then slowly bring that left knee in. We're taking it as slow as possible. Nice and controlled. Want to feel into every little muscle fiber. Bring a little softness here. Notice if you can try and make it a little bit more meditative. Letting the breath start to slow down, but we're still taking those really big breaths in. Maybe the breath's just not as choppy. And then we'll slowly bring that left knee in towards the chest and pause here. Then gently send that left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Find a high crescent lunge. Reach your arms nice and high. Sink into the front knee. And then we're going to take some little knee dips. We're going to cactus out the arms. Lift back up and then lower. So that right leg doesn't get straight. We've still got a bend in the knee. We're just dipping that left knee down. So option here for weights, or we're just pretending that we're like pulling a weight down. So getting nice and stable through the feet. Bringing that left knee down. Spine is nice and long. We're here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Hold it low. And then gently lift all the way up, straighten the legs, reach arms high. Just send that left heel down a little bit towards the ground. All right, we'll bend into the front knee. Open back up to that squat position. So start to take the feet a little bit wider. Let's take a deep breath in, reach the arms high. And then exhale, let it go. Find that squat position. Sink the hips. Okay, so finding your position in your squat that feels good. All right, once you have it, we're gonna sink and lift. So little pulses, little pulses. So feet about hip distance, the toes are pointing forwards. I have to really concentrate on opening up the knees because my knees naturally wanna come together. So being aware. We're going to pause at the bottom. In the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rooting the left foot down. We're going to lift that right leg. Bring it back. Slow dip. Bring it back. Slow dip. So taking your time here, focusing on something in front of you, not moving, focusing on that balance, finding that breath. Can you relax down the shoulders? We're here for 5, for 4, for 3, holding at the top, for 2, and 1. Bring that right knee in. I'm pivoting. We're going to stay here. We're going to slowly send the right foot away. Use your breath. Ooh. Try not to wobble. Bring that right knee back in. And slowly send that right foot away. Come up to straight. Right knee hugs in. And then send it away. Bring it back in. Send it away. We're just here for the next 5. With control, getting that breath back for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to bring that right knee back in towards the chest. And I'm going to slowly send that right foot all the way to the back of the mat for that high crescent. Ooh, let's get nice and stable. Reach the arms high, inhale. Exhale, sink the right knee, draw the arms down. Lift the arms, and then sink it back in. All right, just imagine that you're drawing something down. You're pulling something down with your arms. Opening up that left inner thigh. We're here for 5, for 4, for 3, and 2, and 1. Keep it low. Then come all the way back up to straighten the legs. Guide that right heel a little bit further down. Nice big breath. And slowly let's open up to a wide-legged position. Nice star pose. Inhale, take the feet nice and wide. Let's find a forward fold. Take your hands towards the ground, your ankles. And it's like a tricky way to kind of wipe the sweat off your face because your face is close to the ground. All right, let everything hang heavy. We're going to come onto our spine in just a few more breaths. All right, let's slowly lift up halfway. We're going to wiggle the feet a little closer and rise all the way back up. Roll the shoulders back, jump your feet together. All right, Just shake everything out that you need to. And we're going to come onto a seat and find a little bow pose. All right. So we're going to lean the body back, lift the legs, lift the arms. Maybe your legs are bent, maybe they're straight. See how it feels. We're going to hold it here. Nice big breaths in, nice big breaths out. All right, we're going to lower the boat and bring it back up. We're going to lower and lift. Use that breath. Okay, just for the next 5, nice and controlled. For 4, for 3, and 2, and 1. Lower all the way down, full body stretch. Point your fingers, point through your toes. Soft inhale, and a big breath out, let it go. Just bring soles of the feet together, let knees splay out just for a moment. Just take your arms out to a cactus shape, just let your shoulders relax. Maybe just sway your head a little side to side. Just giving your body a moment to take a breath, but not for too long. All right, we're going to rest the arms down by our sides. The legs stay where they are. We're going to focus on pressing the little toes together. Knees stay wide. We're going to lift the hips and lower back down. So just a little lift and a little lower. A little lift, a little lower. When we continue to do this, we're strengthening the hips, but also the hip flexors. So great if you have any sensitivity there, or they feel tight. Just really focus on lifting the hips and keeping the knees nice and wide. Letting that breath be soft. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Maybe even closing down your eyes. Kind of getting a bit more meditative with the movement. Just here for 5, for 4, and 3. Pausing at the top for 2, and 1. Pause at the top, hold, just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Just take your hands to the outside of your legs. Bring your legs together. We'll just hug knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, a little rock side to side. Just letting that breath be soft. All right, we're going to find a little stretch and crunch here. So we're going to extend both legs to the sky, pointing the toes. Extend your left leg down towards the ground and guide your right leg in towards your chest. You want to keep that right leg straight and lift your head and shoulders off the ground. If you have the space, you can always reach for the calf and kind of bring that right leg towards you. We're pointing through all toes, keeping the legs as straight as possible. And then with control, guide your belly button in and then start to lower the right leg, reach for the left leg. Guide it in, slowly alternate. So just taking it slow to start with, feeling that nice stretch. You can always bring the head and shoulders down if you want a little less. We're going to take it a little bit faster without the arms. In the next 5, 4, 3, arms by your sides for 2, and 1. Arms down by your sides. We're continuing with the legs. The legs are nice and straight. Any strain in the neck, you can always support your head, which I like to do because I know that I easily strain my neck. So focus on squeezing your belly button in. If you have your head in your hands, elbows are wide, and you're lifting from your waist, not from your neck. Keep pointing through the toes. Just taking it at your pace. I like slow and control because I do find that I get the most out of it. We're just here for the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're holding legs both together at the top. Pause here. Now relax your head and shoulders down, arms down by your sides. We're going to extend the legs wide. I can't extend my right leg, and then bring them back together. I've got a dresser in the way. But you are going to extend both legs. You get the idea, and then bring them back together. Okay, continue to open everything up. Bring it back together. So your legs may go really wide. Yeah, and then bring them back together. Just for the next 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Legs back together at the top, arms just underneath your glutes. We're going to keep the legs nice and straight. Slowly lower your legs to the earth for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover off the ground. Scissor your legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lift your legs up high. Big breath in. Legs are still straight. Lower slowly for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover and scissor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lift your legs all the way up. Take a deep breath. Last one. And lower for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover and scissor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift your legs all the way up. Bring knees to your chest. Give yourself a squeeze, a little rock side to side. Right, take your knees nice and wide. Just hold onto your knees and just take a pause here. We'll circle the knees together, taking that wide. Just take any movements here that feel good in your body. Whatever you feel like your body's craving. Maybe sending soles of feet to the sky. You can grab a hold of ankles or outside of your feet. Kind of finding a little rock side to side may feel pretty nice. We just have one more little push before we end. And then we can take some more little stretches. All right, so this time we're going to bring the knees together. Hands come towards the back of the head. We're going to lift the head and shoulders. We're just going to take some bicycle crunches. All right, opposite leg, opposite knee, and just take it either as fast as you like or a little bit slower, whatever you want, just for this little push. Let's point the toes away, find those twists, take it nice and strong. This just last little push. Squeeze your belly button in. Use that breath. Definitely makes a difference if you have some pretty cool music on in the background. So definitely recommend, if not, listen to my voice as we push through. We're here for 8, keep it going, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Pause in the middle, and then slowly lower everything down. Alrighty, we get to stretch. Okay, we are going to cross that right ankle over your left thigh and just press your right thigh away. We can either stay right here, just pushing the left hip away from the right thigh, or if you want to find a full reclined pigeon, interlace hands behind the left thigh or the left shin, and just keep your right foot flexed to protect that knee joint. Head and shoulders are on the ground, maybe even closing down the eyes. Just letting your breath start to really slow down now. Taking some big breaths in, some big breaths out. Noticing how the body feels, what it needs, if it needs anything else. Gently bring that left foot to the ground if it's not there already. Arms to a T. Just cross that right leg over the left leg. Shift hips a little to the right and then guide your legs over to the left. If this is too much, you can just stack your knees on top of each other and just really stretch out your arms as far as possible and really then send your right shoulder into the ground. Let your eyes get really soft in your head. Where else you need to be. Just enjoying a few nice stretches before moving on with the rest of your day. Feeling content and complete, satisfied that you started off your day in such a beautiful way. Just any kind of movement is so important for us, for our physical and mental health. Slowly roll onto your spine, we'll release the right foot down and cross that left ankle over that right thigh. We'll press the left thigh away. And either stay right here, this can feel like it's enough, or for a little extra, oh, this side is tight for me. Interlacing hands behind the right thigh or shin. It's amazing how one side always feels tighter than the other. When I'm stretching people, I always find that it tends to be the most common side that's tightest is the left hip. If you have that, if you find it's the other way, please let me know, because it's always the left when I'm stretching people and I get to know these things. Oh, just let the eyes get soft. Just notice how everything starts to slow down. Body's just slowly finding that relaxation. Part of the practice, just giving into it. And gently bring the right foot down if it's not there already. Arms splay out. Crossing that left leg, shift hips to the left and guide those legs over to the right. If you find that that left shoulder is lifting off the ground, just move your legs in a way that you can allow that left shoulder to be still on the ground. Enjoy that twist where you are. And just allowing the body to start to find that relaxation. It's so important that we stretch after any kind of exercise so that we can kind of move on to the next exercise without any discomfort. Still keeping ourselves nice and open. Alright, we'll roll onto our spine. Let's see what else we have. Let's bring the knees in. Take your hands underneath your knees, tuck your chin in, and we'll just rock up to a seat. I'll just invite you to either be seated, so cross-legged or kneeling. I'm going to kneel because it feels like a bit of a nice stretch on the quads. We'll take a deep breath in, reach arms to the sky. Just grab a hold of that left wrist, lean over to the right and gaze up towards the sky. Just a very subtle twist. And then slowly bring that left hand towards the ground, lean over to that left side, just bending into the left elbow, let your head get heavy. And then slowly come all the way back up. We'll bend that right elbow, place that arm behind your head, and then just keep your upper body really tall. Press your head in towards the back of your right arm and just soften down the rib cage. Take a breath in and a breath out. Beautiful. Unravel, catch the arms, reach the arms high, grab a hold of that right wrist, lean to the left. And softly bring that right hand towards the ground, lean over to the right, little bend in that right elbow, just soften the right shoulder, inhale. Exhale, come back through center, bend the left elbow, and then press your head into the back of that hand. We want to aim to keep the spine nice and long. Soft inhale, soft exhale. And unravel, catches the arms, reach the arms high, palms come together, down to heart center, and then just give yourself a little clap today for showing up and allowing yourself to move, groove, and just feel healthy and happy today. So thank you.